Damnaster drummed his fingers on the table. Around the table were all the members of the council. Many of them had a similar expression as his. Looking at each of them, his face contorted in anger when he saw Melodoristria. Slamming his fist onto the table, he yelled, "Are you happy with your actions?" Despite her prideful and combative nature, Melodoristria remained quiet. Shame was plastered over her face, though her fists were clenched as she took the condescending tone. "Leave her alone, Damnaster," Levistria growled. There was no way she could have known that the elves would ally themselves with such a powerful force. "Though now we have been defeated and humiliated," Yelenaster countered. Deblester stood up and addressed the group. "We should see this as an act of defiance and wipe them out. The overflow will be beginning soon, so let us increase the number and direct enough towards the elves," Apasteria sighed as she lounged in her seat looking disinterested. "Being imprisoned did not seem to eliminate your apathy," Venalestria jabbed at Apasteria. Apasteria shrugged her shoulders at the remark. "Leaving it to a bunch of mindless monsters is ridiculous. We should attack both the elves and their ally," Ulister urged the others. "Do not be so impatient, Ulister. Apasteria is correct in utilizing the overflow as a tool to defeat our issues. From what we learned after hearing about Meldoristria's and Levistria's fight with this unexpected variable, allowing the overflow work for us makes logical sense," Gelestria murmured. Ulistria glanced over at Verolistria and said, "She is still a cold and calculating bitch, is she not? I think we should have Meldoristria and Livistria go visit this ally of the elves. I do not see how members of this council could be humiliated to such a degree." Verolistria looked with concern towards Meldoristria and Livistria, who glared back at her. "I think that is a wonderful idea. Having such a defeat likely weighs on Meldoristria's mind. What do you think, Damnaster?" Ulistria asked. He calmly listened to the discussion and looked towards the source of his ire. "Though the suggestion is likely not as benevolent as it appears, the two of you have forced my hand. By the way, your actions." Leaning forward, Damnaster looked seriously at them. "I will allow you two to redeem yourself. Deblester and Ulistria will accompany the two of you. They will make sure that there will be no loose ends." Meldoristria walked through the hallway having mixed feelings. In the past, she would have felt anger towards Damnaster's treatment of her, but after fighting that monster, she realized that pride was useless. Hearing footsteps, she turned and saw Levistria walking towards her. "It seems as though we have gained an opportunity to get even with that monster," Meldoristria said, though her voice lacked her usual confidence. "Are you truly that foolish?" Levistria raised her eyebrow with her eyes slightly wider. "The relationship between you and Damnaster has always been a pain to his authority, and he has us being babysat with those who do not care for either of us. On top of that, you have lost almost all of your forces and are greatly weakened." Using her finger, she jabbed it into Meldoristria's chest and stated, "Whether we are killed by the ally of the elves or we are killed by our keepers." "Why would Damnaster do such a thing when we have been together as a council since nearly the very beginning?" Meldoristria sounded confused, though her voice confirmed such things were true. Levistria waved away her rebuttal and lowered her voice. "We need to go to where the elves' allies are." "What?" Meldoristria asked, shocked at such a suggestion. "No matter what happens, we are both dead. After fighting that monster, I think it is likely that the creature's master is far stronger and likely able to provide us sanctuary. Levistria chuckled and said, "It is also likely that we will be tortured and killed when we arrive there, but it is better than being discarded like humans." Levistria turned away, scowling at the thought of how they were being cast aside after all these thousands of years. Breathing deeply, Levistria looked back at her. "I will not allow them to kill either of us." She reached out towards Melistria and embraced her. "We will survive, together." Han enjoyed the view in the dining area within the stronghold, which allowed him to view his city. As he cut into the meat and took a bite, Han thought about how much he enjoyed eating delicious food, which was something he rarely had the opportunity doing when he was on Earth. "Are you enjoying your meal, Master?" Helania asked him. He watched as a group of children played happily in the city, which made him smile. To see people being so free and happy was something he had always hoped for throughout his life. Turning back to Helania, he answered, "Yes. Please give the chef my compliments for another wonderful meal." Helania indicated for one of the waitresses to approach the table. The woman walked up and bent down to listen to Helania's words. After hearing Helania's request, she nodded her head and walked back to the kitchen. After finishing his meal, Helania indicated for the remaining waitresses to clear the table. "Thank you for your care," Han told the women, who looked very happy even with their serious expressions. "It is nice to relax now and then," Han said to no one in particular. "How was your trip with Celestra and Hyun?" Helania asked him. "Everything went well. I am happy how quickly they were able to adapt to the new bodies," Han smiled, thinking back on how easily they butchered those Empire soldiers. Helania gave a warm smile. "I am happy that they are fulfilling your expectations." "How is everyone else doing? It feels like some time since I have seen everyone. It has been several days," he casually remarked. Hearing his words, Helania sighed. "What is the matter?" he asked. There had been several arguments between them. I had not known this was happening until I had returned. Even with my lectures, they seemed to still hold some grudges against one another, though nothing serious. Helania gently rubbed her temple to indicate her frustrations on the matter. Hearing this is very troubling. I had thought that they were getting along. Han felt concerned about the matter. "Master, this is not at a level to be concerned about. I apologize for bringing up something as trivial as this," Helania responded. "No, I am happy that you mentioned this. Have everyone meet me in the throne room, and we can bring up what is happening and clear the air." He sighed, getting up. As he walked down the steps, the waitresses and waiters all bowed to him as he left the room. Sitting on his throne, Han wondered what was going on with his creations and if it was a serious matter. As he pondered these questions, the doors into the throne room opened as everyone filed in. As they all lined up in front of him, he looked at each one. "I have heard that there have been some disagreements?" he asked. There was silence since no one wanted to admit to anything going on. It reminded him of when his parents would do the same thing whenever he got into trouble. Han understood that they were worried about disappointing him and didn't want to voice what was happening. "There is no need for this silence. I am only worried about all of you, and it hurts me to see you guys not getting along. Do you guys enjoy doing that?" he asked. When he saw that there was only silence, he slowly stood up and began walking away from them. "Master, please do not leave. It is my fault," Anaklis called out to him. Turning towards her, he asked, "What is your fault?" Anaklis looked worried as Han looked at her. "I have caused some tension to form between Brittany and I due to my actions." When he looked at Brittany, she stood up. Master, I have also been acting childish in my dealings with Annapolis. I hope you can forgive me. Han sighed in relief when he heard them explain what was happening. Lifting both of his hands, Han motioned for them to approach him. The two looked ashamed for acting the way they did and slowly came up to him. When they were in front of him, he said, I appreciate that you could be honest with me about what was happening. These things are normal considering how I wish for all of you to develop your own identities. Just remember that I care for all of you. They nodded their heads at Han's words. Master, can I be with you tonight? Brittany asked him in a spoiled voice. He chuckled at her behavior and how she was able to ask such a thing after being scolded. How about you and Annapolis spend time with me this week? I feel like I have not been giving you two the attention you need. Seeing the slight change in Brittany's expression, he added, Yes, you can sleep with me tonight. Brittany looked happy immediately, hugging him. I love you, Master. Two figures walked up to one of the gates of Felicitas. The guards watched them approach and sensed a strength from the two of them. This is Gate 1. We may have a situation here. Suggest going to alert status. Two figures are approaching, and they appear to be powerful. One of the guards talked into his communication device. Understood. There will be golems on standby if there are any issues. Commencing protocols for alert status, a voice answered back. The guard looked at the others with him who also heard his words. They nodded back at him to let him know they understood. Appearing like nothing different was happening, he called out, Welcome to Felicitas. Is there anything we can help you with? One of the figures pulled down their hood and revealed a beautiful woman. Let your master know that he has visitors, former members of the Demon Council of 10.